the show was on television for 15 years.
There was a lot of, divide amongst Supernatural fandom about how the show ended and what happened with your character. And, there's a divide.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I don't think there's a wrong opinion about it. I honestly don't. I think that if the people that have problems with it are validated, and I think the people that enjoyed it are validated. I was in both camps. I spent time in both camps.
I've cried every day for a week.
You genuinely cry.
Yeah, I read the script every day. And even just moments on set, we're filming our last episode. So every now and again, we're at a location. It's like, oh, I've been here for 15 years. I remember this place. I remember where I played with my dog and this and that. And then it's like, okay, this is the last time we'll be at this location. And I think to myself, there's a possibility I'm trying to be aware of that I'll never make this drive again.
The very first time we had ever heard what was going to happen at the end of the season, Jared and I flew out to LA and we went to the writer's room before the season started. And we all sat down and they essentially pitched us how they wanted to wrap up the show, which was the first time in Supernatural history that had ever happened.
And what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction was, I don't like it.
Here's what I'm trying to deal with right now. Saying goodbye to a friend of 15 years, the show, my character, Sam, I know so well.
And so the audience actually got to watch these two characters, Jared and Jensen, that Jared and Jensen were playing, grow up as those actors grew up. You see the first season of that show and they're kids.
Yeah.
And, when the show ended, they were washed up. And
I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. I've never gone 5 months without playing Sam Winchester. Not since I was 22 years old. And I'm 38 now with a wife and 3 kids. And gray hairs they have to scratch out with a comb. Very humbling.
I slept on it and about a week went by and I went to my wife and I was like, I'm just really bumping on this. It's just not. And she was like, is it because Dean dies? And I'm like, maybe I'm just too close to that character and I just don't want to see him go. And I for some reason, I always thought that if someone was going to go, it would be Sam. As honestly, as kind of the, as the martyr.
Martyr. I was thinking martyr. Yeah.
And Dean would then be left to just kind of stumble through the rest of his life,
right,
mourning his brother and his lost family. And it would be, maybe a sad existence, but that's just how it happened. Or we would both go, like a Butch and Sundance kind of a thing.
Right. It's been an incredible journey, to say the least. I, for one, am hoping that Supernatural never dies. What did you mean by that?
By which part?
I just want it to go on forever in terms of the fans will always remember it in 30 years from now when I walk into it, I'm a Supernatural, and it will just always be in people's minds and new generations. Is it that, or is it B, I'd like to come back and do a Supernatural movie, or maybe we'll do another season someday. Who knows? Or is it a combination of both?
Yes, and yes.
And I do feel like this isn't like the long goodbye right now. I feel like this is let's hang this in the closet for now. And we'll dust her off, down the road.
So you couldn't come back. I mean, the Winchesters, you couldn't come back in a Supernatural spinoff, or you couldn't come back in a Supernatural movie.
Dude, it's Supernatural.
It's Supernatural.
It's Supernatural.
Of course we could.
Of course we can.
And would you?
There's all kinds of ways.
You would. If it was the right thing, if it was the right...
100%. Again, I love this character, and I love the story of these two brothers, and I love what it stands for.
Right.
And I love the world that they live in, and the family that they have acquired through their years. There's so much love and attachment to that show. It's a reason that it went 15 years, and it could have gone longer.
And I think that we weren't terribly guarded with the fans. We were a little bit vulnerable. We were a little bit open, a little bit open-hearted. We were willing to,
make an ass of yourself.
Make total asses of ourselves, humiliate
I do the
ourselves.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And how emotional. I could just see two of you good-looking fucks just falling together. Oh my God, sweating. You got the sauna. You guys got the sauna blanket over both of you. You're just crying your fucking eyes out.
Step in here. It's already been emotional, man. You know, what's funny is that
I wasn't sad. It was emotional pride of like looking back and like, look at what we did. That was the feeling. The overwhelming feeling that I had was more of like, look at this amazing thing that we built,
Right.
that we did together. It was just emotional pride.
he and I both, and you know this, you worked with him and you know me for a long time, and he and I both are so committed to these characters. You know, he plays Dean Winchester, I play Sam Winchester. Like, I love Sam Winchester. He's been my close friend for 15 years, and I want to do him justice. So I'm focusing really hard. I'm trying to focus really hard to make sure that if Sam cries, it's Sam tears, not Jared's.
So you didn't tear up in the last scene with Jared? This is our last scene together? You didn't switch lines, maybe give each other a kiss?
No, we had, well, he had his hand in my pants, but that was, other than that, but that was below frame. No, the final day we had kind of already processed, and it wasn't really a big emotional day. The emotional scene came a few days earlier, which was when Dean dies and says goodbye to Sam and basically like, you got to let me go. That one was heavy.
Hard for Jared too.
Oh yeah. I mean, he and I were, it was a strong mixture of character performance tears and actor emotional real tears.